Hi everyone. We are going to have another Estrada Sisters talk session today. We're going to be discussing breaking cycles and what it's like to be cycle breakers. So thank you for joining. It's a special day today. It's my birthday and I did not want to miss the opportunity to have this conversation today, even though it's my B-day. Marcella, hello.
Like you can always see me before I think
there you are.
Can. Hi. Happy
Hi,
birthday.
Sister. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this on your birthday and just getting back from Tulum.
I know. I just got back last night.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome everybody. Ooh, Marie joined live this time. Yay! Hi. So we're super excited, sister. So we're gonna be super real with you guys. The last couple of promo things have said like mental health any fucking day because we're literally just fitting this into our schedule. We want to make this happen once a week, and we're fitting it in where we can fit it in because we've got a lot of things going on in our lives right now, but we are making time to show up for this. And so we didn't get a chance to talk about who was time. So, I don't know if you want to lead because it's your birthday or you want me to lead. Go ahead.
No, thank you. So while I was waiting for you to join, I was telling everyone that today we're going to be talking about breaking cycles, what it's like to be that person in your family that's the first one to be getting woke and realizing that there has been an impact from generational trauma that's been passed down and what that process is like to wake up to the fact, and then from there also leading the way for our families, for our friends, and what that feeling is like. So I think it'd be great to just have a conversation around it, just because it's something that I know my clients struggle with a lot. It's something that I've struggled with, you struggled with. So I just want us to share. If you'd like to share first, go ahead and I'll jump in.
Yeah, and I think these conversations are all interrelated, because we're cycle breakers. What cycles? The cycles of trauma. That's what we're breaking. So it's all interrelated. And there's just a couple of things I want to say about this. Like we said before, we always want to keep these short, so we're barely scratching surface on these, but we do invite you to send us your questions afterwards, to share these videos with your friends. We do plan on having guests. We have my sister already, she did the call for people to send us requests if they would like to share their story. I have people who I know want to share their story, so I just wanted to take a moment to say all that. But yeah, first and foremost, I want to say the thing that's most difficult to recognize about being a cycle breaker, and that it's a privilege, because it's really hard to even get to a point where you realize that there is a cycle that you need to break, Right. So it takes a lot of work to get to the place where you can realize that. First and foremost, it's a privilege. Second of all, you cannot get to a place where you can be a cycle breaker if you are not vulnerable. And that vulnerability is not even just with other people like we're doing right now, but with yourself, actually, first and foremost. And I know that I shared some things like last time. I don't know, these conversations, they just really flow out of me. And I've shared some things that I was like, I don't know if I was ready to share that yet, but it came out, so here we are. Because it's all real. It's all what I'm really going through and living and experiencing, and I just, that's the point of these conversations, is to just be able to unabashedly talk about all these things that people like ourselves, children of immigrants from third world countries, have gone through. So vulnerability. So, first of all, it's a privilege. Second of all, you can't get there without vulnerability with yourself. Because the reason I mentioned that is because like I didn't even realize that I felt lesser than, certain people because of the color of my skin or my ethnic background or my social economic background.
Right.
And so it really took me being vulnerable with myself and saying, okay, Patricia, this is something that you actually believe and feel. And that's why you're feeling this way. That's why you feel so uncomfortable and inadequate around, wealthier people or white people sometimes, depending on their vibes.
Right. Yeah.
And so vulnerability, number one, after the fact that it's a privilege. And then vulnerability with yourself, and then of course with others. And then the only other thing I want to mention, because the time flies on these things.
I know it does.
The other thing I want to mention is that it takes compassion.
Yes.
And that compassion, again, goes with yourself first and foremost.
Right.
For having all these feelings, for, you feel like how dare I believe that? How could I believe that about myself, or how could I believe that about my family? Or why am I upset why am I so angry about this thing or that
right.
thing? Or how come I don't understand this? How come I can't just get over this,
Yeah.
Compassion.
Let me just jump in. Yeah. So compassion is super important. I'm glad you mentioned that. And it's important to notice that there will be anger, right? When you first start realizing that you have been impacted by generational trauma, you get pissed off because you're like, what the F? How did this happen? How did my family do this? My parents do this? My caregivers? So I just want to tell everyone, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be upset. But the other thing that goes right along with that is recognize those emotions. As a life coach, there is work that I do with my clients to help them release that anger and process the rage sometimes that we felt. But the second thing is that you mentioned compassion, right? And giving it to yourself first. All of these things that we are talking about, you want to give to yourself first. You must give to yourself first, because you cannot give to others what you don't have to yourself, for yourself. So you got to give yourself the love, the compassion, the forgiveness, the understanding, and then it'll come overflow from your cup, and you'll be able to share that with your family members, with your friends. And in that also, when you're vulnerable, right, speaking to your friends about it, speaking to your tribe about it, to your soul family, your chosen family, and maybe even your siblings if you have them, right? You can talk to them without coming from this angry place and resentful place, and come from a place of forgiveness. So ultimately that's where you will get, but just know that it's a process. And for me, the things that I want to share about being cycle breakers is that it's scary and it's lonely. Even with the community, sometimes it's still really scary and you feel alone. You don't know how you're going to help your family be more positive. You don't know how you're going to get them to look at their own shit. You don't know.
Pause. Okay.
You're like, I'm triggered.
Pause, because that's exactly, you see, and you're doing it now. And this is the perfect example. It's not our responsibility and this is something that we both continue to work on. It is not our responsibility to get your family to see. It's our responsibility to get ourselves to a place where we're okay. And then, like you said, it overflows. And one more comment, I want you to go back to what you were saying. And I just want to make one more comment about what you said, which is you can't give to others what you don't have for yourself. Now, I don't, there's always these disclaimers that you have to say nowadays. Of course you can love people. Of course you can have compassion. So actually, sometimes you feel like it's easier to have compassion for others versus yourself. But really, on a really, truly deep level, it's true. If you don't give it to yourself, it's not as easy, not truly, to give it to others. So I'm sorry, continue. You were saying it's scary and lonely.
Yeah, it's scary, it's lonely, and it's uncharted territory. And what we want to invite you to do is to find your people, the soul chosen family, your good friends, other people. Even, again, we want to invite you to connect with us, with Patricia and myself. Send us a DM, message us, Let us know what you're going through, and we're here to talk to you and help you and support you, so you have a community where you can just vent and it could be a safe space. Like at the retreat, I was just with my clients and they were talking about like realizing all this power that they have, and realize all these realizations and being cycle breakers, and how it is lonely. And they're just like, I don't know what to do when you feel kind of lost, but we are here. You're not alone. I have my other friends. You don't just have to talk to me and Patricia, but we have a whole network of women and men that I actually met in Tulum too, that are doing
And
the
my
work,
husband too. Yeah.
that are Latinos, that are, you know, healing as well. So you're not alone. There's a community, and don't stop doing the work. And also don't be hard on yourself if you have a lapse, if you relapse and you go back to being sort of like your angry self, or you get mad, or you get hurt, or you go off on someone. It's fine. You're human. It's totally cool.
This is a lifelong process.
Right.
Like, you know, and depending on the levels of your trauma, of the things that you've gone through, you know, and where you are in your life, and the support system that you may or may not have, you know, all of these things affect how you move forward or don't. And so you can take 3 steps forward and 5 steps back, you know, that's normal. At the end of the day, it's all still progress, because going back into that space allows you to see how it feels. And once you've already started to do some work, when you go back into that space, it's an opportunity to realize, oh shit, I'm doing the thing again. I'm being self-destructive. I'm not, you know, this is not conducive to my growth. Like, this is not how I want to live my life. But anyway, we're already close to the time that we want to cut this off at. But I want to say another thing, that the reason that I even thought of having this as a topic today, not only because it's super mega related with the internet generational trauma, but actually just a couple of days ago, a really, really good friend of mine here, and she's her name's Irina, and she would like to be a guest. She's an open book with her story. She's just a couple of years older than me and has lived here for a long time, but she's an American Latina as well, which I'm so thankful that I have her. But she literally had a breakthrough in therapy about how she was repeating the cycle, you know, of a childhood pain that she went through. She lived through something traumatic in her childhood because of her family. And she had never truly allowed herself, even though she'd been in therapy for years and doing all this self-help stuff just like us, you know, it took her getting to a certain place and some certain things happening to where she realized, like, oh God, I am repeating this cycle. And I don't want to do that, you know? And she said it herself, like, once I said those words out loud and I was crying and I said it out loud, it was like a weight lifted off my chest, and I was able to step back and really see the patterns of all the different things that I've done in my life. So,
oh, I could cry.
I know,
So
and we did cry when she was telling me. We did cry. You know, I was like, this is exactly why we have these conversations, and this is exactly the kind of thing that we want to talk about. And it's these are bite-sized, literal little tiny nibbles of the things that we have gone through and would like to discuss, but you know, we'll save it for future endeavors to go deeper into specific topics, you know, perhaps answering questions. But for now, we just want to make sure that we show up, have these conversations, get you guys thinking. Like Ronica was saying, you want to share, like, it's lonely, but you can take this opportunity of this live. If you found something that was useful, share it, and then share what it inspired in you. You know, like use us as your excuse to open up about these things.
Exactly. Use our conversation as a bridge. Share this with your friends, with your family, and say, hey, this made me think of X, Y, or Z. What about you? And again, be patient, be compassionate, be love, be forgiveness, right? Embody those qualities, and be gentle with yourself. And remember, you are not alone. You're not doing this alone. We're here with you on the same path, and happy to be leading by example, but also walking shoulder to shoulder with you in this endeavor, in this life. And we'll keep growing and learning together. And again, thank you so much for your attention, for tuning in, and definitely come back for the next Estrada Sisters Talk. We'll be back next week with more conversations like this, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yes, thank you so much. I saw that my sister-in-law just joined, so I'm going to say a quick shout out in Italian. Maybe in the future we could do some like multilingual things, but for now,
Spanish,
ciao
okay.
Carmela, stiamo facendo una conversazione dei traumi che abbiamo vissuto nella vita quando stavamo crescendo e come possiamo rompere quei cicli che sono sicura che ti potrebbe interessare anche a te. It definitely in Calabria, where my husband is from, they definitely have some cycles that need to be broken.
Everyone does.
It's
Everyone does.
Exactly.
So
every
this is
culture.
Not just
so
our culture, but we speak from our experience, but every culture has some toxic shit that needs to be broken. And with that, we will leave you guys and stay tuned for the next one. Thank you, sister, for tuning in. Everyone.
Happy birthday again. Happy birthday, sister. Enjoy your day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you, everybody. See you next time.